how it really did not favor the Skyhook teams. They weren't able to get their trials loot as quickly as they would had liked to, so they were very delayed on their rotate, but they had the center zone with that comp. And I wish we could have seen exactly how they rotated in, but they were able to get there and get control that jungle gym. Unfortunate for them, it was just a mad cluster of squads there on the south side coming through Sorting Factory, and they just could not be the ultimate kings of the hill on that jungle gym.
And you're not seeing, I believe it's Team Rockstar make it to the end game because these EMPs would be absolutely brutal. So if we're in a spot where Tech could get in position with the drone and hit scans over and over again, you can expect a big game from them. That's one thing that could really counter a lot of this lobby. Again, when you're the only legend being played in the lobby, a lot of times that does end up favoring you. So we do have, I believe, one Horizon that's being played on Rare Excellence. And then you obviously have Tech, who is that tried and true crypto, who's always been using that. As we take a look at what Team Cheez-It's doing, first place team making their way over towards Lava City, and I'm pretty sure they were getting 50-50'd and continue to get 50-50'd in this game.
Yeah, you can see there is someone right underneath them. Last time around, it was that split, the western-eastern split of Lava City. But for Rakanishu, he's going to go ahead and pop that beacon for us first, and we'll be able to take a look at the map in just a moment as well. This time around, the flight path going north, south to north once again, but fairly down the middle of the line. So that's going to be Team Razer able to get that trials loot early on as we have another staging ending, Tom.
Staging thermal could end in the middle, could be that high ground ending. We'll end up finding out very shortly, but I do want to see Joey Blackout try to get an armor here. Otherwise, they're not going to end up taking this fight. But I love that Rakanishu has the presence of mind to go over towards that beacon, get the scan super early. It's always really nice when you get that really easy flight path too, as they're trying to make their way over from the high ground and cut this team off over towards the middle. And doesn't look like any major fighting happening quite yet. It's been pretty chill. This is probably going to be the first action that we see over towards this lava side if they end up fighting.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, he doesn't actually swap off that for an alternator there, and they do have full roof control. And you have slight high ground up against that squad. Joey Blackout finally gets that white armor for himself. He's got an ultimate accelerant. If he can pop one more, he will have that early on. It's Team Intel and is challenging them over here for now. Get that golden cargo butt. We'll find out exactly what they get out of that shortly, but with the addition of the more golden equipment now in the game, you're not getting as much value just because of all the 4 additional mags put into the pool of gold. The loot intel currently sitting on 2 white armors and 1 blue to the 2 blue of Team Cheez-It, but it looks like it's going to be a full just they're running away from this one. They're not going to take this fight until they back away. Team Intel not letting them get away for free, as Panders is still chasing behind them on this Bloodhound. He isn't even full health quite yet, but he's still tracking them for the time being.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to disengage on the Cheez-It side, but they're trying to engage on the Intel side, and a lot of times it does end up being the team that ends up being a little bit more confident. There's the initial push, there's the initial shots coming through. We also have a fight happening with Moosin and his team. His Team Cruelty is in a little bit of a skirmish. 2 skirmishes happening at the same time, not too surprising. That's typically what happens, but this is a full-on fight as the bubbles are going to go down. Caustic gas is going to happen for Joey Blackout too. He's going to start to push in there, maybe try to get another barrel in if he's able to. And now the disengage becomes the counter engage as it looks like a 2-on-1 situation. Will Six be able to get out of this one? Prodigy Aces with the shot. Rakanishu is there as well. And a little bit of a debate there and some disrespect from Team Cheez-It on the Team Intel.
Yeah, they just did not have the right intel. I don't know if they were able to see the double blues as well, but it's Team Rockstar now making their way through Train, currently getting that first knock onto Chemist, though. This is the fight we saw Train for them in game number 2 as well, as Seiko will go down. There's another +3 for them, as Tech barely survived that one, but they do get that team fight win. They win out here, and they continue their move on over. Tech popping that Q early on. Here's Team Razer, though, doing what they should be, of course, which is just getting all the loot that he can. But, you know, Trials really hasn't been as great as we've seen in the past for them. We've only been seeing 1 gold armor in the last 2 games with whatever other golden equipment they get. Here's Team Pop-Tarts, though, chasing after Team Cruelty now, as Scissors has already gone down and been thirsted off, as Stomps drops down to the low. Will be able to finish off Moosin Flowers. So Team Cruelty, the strong start in game number 1, but here get wiped in game number 3. Now it's Applejacks, though, making a push onto the bridge. Defensive bombardment has been used. Aves holding the angle, allowing Rollers to try to swing on in. Port has been utilized by the squad, but now they're back themselves into that cliff over towards the fences here. And Applejacks will slow play this for now. Port out from Aves, as it looks like they're going to disengage from this one and make their way on over towards Harvester.
Yeah, because that fight's going to last too long. They know they're going to get third-partied, so they're making their way through. I'm going to try to gatekeep that team a little bit later and focus on the end game here, which is a smart play. There goes the scan coming in from Rollers, showing that they can go and push up this ramp, because this ramp is absolutely brutal if a team is holding the top. So sneaking and weaseling their way on over towards Harvester. Speaking of sneaking and weaseling around, looks like we have another Tomcat Rat Cam. This time it's going to be Gordo. At least we have a couple of different teams taking their turn here.
Yeah, Gordo, actually on one of the smallest characters in the game. So not really living up to the name, but we'll see how much longer he can survive for. Just right out in the open. This isn't your typical rat spot. Usually you try to find some sort of hole, some sort of cover, but he doesn't want to make a peep, doesn't even want to move through the water there, as he's just stuck for now. If he can survive one more squad getting wiped, he at least gets his squad 1 placement points. And we'll see how much longer he survives for. Oh, there's the scan. Pop the Q. Get out, as he starts to run on over towards Hot Springs. But how much longer can he survive for? Who the team fire's too good. NPL will be able to pick that one up.
Ryan says, nuh-uh, I am the Rat King here. He's going to sniff that one out, and they're going to put an end to that one, as they do have the scan. They do have the high ground coming in for Draco, so that's going to be a nice little zip line to make sure that they're not being pushed and pressured for any teams that are rotating out towards this thermal side. Looks like now Tech wants to get busy. He's pushed off of the Crypto on over to Wraith here, so a big change in team compositions, as you do have Pickett off of the Watson onto the Gibraltar, and a much different play style here now going to be coming through from Team Rockstar.
Yeah, the zone looks like it might be pulling away, but Applejack's now finally pulling the trigger onto this fight. Aves took a decent amount of damage, but he does have the bubble. It's going to be Fury to get the re-knock. Oh, excuse me, the knockback on over towards him, as Duke takes a lot of that gas damage. Now they're just down to flesh damage here, as they're still taking, it looks like gas damage, as Fury will be able to finish off Rollers. The thirst should come in any moment now. Duke only able to get that bat off. There's a purple at the very least here, but he is left up against that rest of the squad, backing away currently, as it looks like he's just going to call it there. There's really not much he can do, just creating some distance for now as he gets this med kit off. So he'll have that additional health at the very least, but it's now joining on board with Team Razer. I believe NPL should be on the other side of this fight currently, but Rollers does get finished off. That's going to be Tempest to be able to get that one for now. Muffins sitting on that defensive bombardment for the time being, as the scan comes out from a house just to their east right now, is they're just going to hold on to this god spot for the time being and play the choke for as long as possible.
And you see the pings going onto the rock. That's what really Muffins wants to try to control. This is a very deadly area. If the zone does pull over here, they're going to be in a great spot. But now they make their way over towards the choke ending, which I'm not quite sure if that's going to be the one. Team Pringles, Fury takes a lot of damage. He's trying to push with his purple bolt, even 8. Knows he has a player in front of him, gets that finish. That's going to be the last player, and that's Dupe. We saw him kind of ratting it out over towards the side, but Team Pringles is not going to let that one happen. That's why you saw Fury kind of setting it like an absolute madman over there, as he going to continue to get the rest of the loot that was down over towards the back of this fence. Jamerson, we've seen a lot of fighting over towards the sorting factory fence.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, big shuffle of teams coming out here on the south side. As again, we're seeing a lot more teams now playing more and more zone. Very few center-oriented teams for the time being. Team Pringles, as we talk about time, can stay here for some time. There's 2 minutes until the zone starts closing. They want, maybe they can try and find a beacon around them, but it can be difficult here. Don't know exactly which beacons are active for game number 3, as they are continuing to pick up the rest of this loot for the time being. As yeah, it looks like we do have just the mid-game lull. 14 squads remaining, 42 players left. And so there are still some rats. Oh, excuse me, no, never mind. That's the full squads. That's full squads. My math was wrong.
And we'll have to get another fat scan to see where this zone is. Look at Team Razer. They've gone over to prioritize this very popular ending over towards the thermal station choke, leading on over towards the side. And another team goes and takes the rock that Muffins had pinged earlier. So We'll see which one this ends up being, because if that's the case, Razor's going to get so many kills, that team's going to have to actually send it around zone 4 directly into them, and you get rewarded big time for holding this spot. So Ping's going down over towards the side. Muffet's most likely kind of leading his team, telling him what the situation's going to be as we take a look at some other rotations coming through. It's going to be Team Pop Darts with that gold helmet on Impulse, looking pretty healthy with triple purple armors too. And they also have a scan for us, so if we could pull up the map, that's going to show us where round number 3 is going to be.
Yeah, so North Thermal. So playing those chokes can be incredibly strong, but Razer, they don't have that information. Even though they had that platform beacon, they never actually were able to get that recon information for themselves currently, as Stomps climbs around that Watson fence. This could be an excellent lurk, and they start making their way on over. EMP comes out, though, so it looks like they were spotted, and it looks like it connects onto all 3 members of Pop-Tarts. But we know they got a big team fight win. They were able to pick up a lot of utility along with heals there. So now they're controlling their own choke, but you need to deal with this squad that have this high ground position who will be a thorn in their side. And so with this high ground take coming out from Stomps along with Impulse, you're gonna try and full send this one. The Wraith has queued on back, and a lot of nades are being tossed on over. Stomps has cover to work with as he pops this bat. The Beast of the Hunt goes down as well for Impulse. Here we go, air burst in. Does that Watson have her trap down? Looks like Team Pop-Tarts is just going to go ahead and back away for this one and start playing the train platform instead.
It's already a 50-50 fight, and you already know they have the Watson with the generator, so a lot of the counters to what you're trying to do end up being a problem. So they do take the right play and get out, because you could end up getting third party throughout all that too. Nades coming in from Crummy. Looks like there is no Watson generator up there. Can he connect on another one? No hit markers there. Does have a player over towards the side that Tech is going to be hunting down. Pickett's going to be hitting the battery as well. That's just going to be a portal. There goes the stick. That's going to be onto Catrice, who was down as well. And he doesn't get back over towards the portal. Will they take this portal and get aggressive for this 2-on-3?
Yeah, it is a 2v3, but it's going to be a little difficult because, never mind, Tech just is going to go ahead and full send it, take the port on in with the EVA 8. Dishes out so much damage because that knock onto Views, and Pickles will go down next. Rockstar finally find the fight over here at Train once again. That's going to be 2 team fights that they take over here. So Team Rockstar have been doing a great job now of really changing up the game plan. They were going for that very center zone oriented composition, but now they're playing the edge here, and it's working out for them, Tom.
Yeah, and Tech with the Wraith and a little bit of a different play style, as Pickett's going to be able to get more aggressive with the controller and play that defensive bombardment, Gibraltar shield kind of anchor style that I feel like he's really kind of made for overall. But very confident play to go through that portal. I felt like Pickett was a little bit out of position right there if they wanted to go and send that one. It looks like they're going to elect to go through the train tunnel. They have the heals for this one. The Q going to be popped. Just zone number 2 here, so not going to do a ton of damage, but they realize that this is a much more unpredictable route, and it's going to be a little bit easier for them to make their way through, as it was Nestle Pure Life who now could be gate kept over towards the side by Team Razer.
Yeah, and you can see why Team Razer gave up on that position early on. They were controlling the rocks, they were controlling the beacon, but playing this choke is so much more important. We've seen the ring pull up here towards this choke pretty heavily. But right now, no team currently have that information, but they're still playing this for the time being. NPL laying in wait, and we know how aggressive they can get. Calculo doing a great job of just keeping an eye on it for now. Bambino has gone a knock onto Blur, so Rare Excellence in a fight up against them so far. Ronnie has taken a lot of damage. As you can see, the Horizon Gravity Lift being used, and Dracos is going to utilize that for himself, taking out Q. Now, they lose out on Ronnie as the defensive bombardment comes down. Finish off his Watson, and Rare Excellence goes down. Now we'll see if Team Razer try to come in for the third party. They do see the trades. Never mind, looks like another squad is getting involved in this, but Bambino pulls off that res just to go for the spray down. You are not going to third party this one.
Ronnie going to elect to hit the battery because he knows it's a blue armor swap in front of him instead of a purple, so I do like this play. If you haven't gotten shot at yet, there's no reason to feel like you're going to get hit as soon as you get rezzed over towards the side, so a nice job by Bambino getting that red armor swap through, and then getting his boy Ronnie back up in this type of situation so they're not down to only 2 players. Team Rockstar fresh off their win in the rotation over through that tunnel over towards that train station side. Most likely thinking about taking a balloon play out of here, and they could.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and throw that defensive bombardment first to clear out that high ground for themselves, but The ring is going to start closing in, and that balloon is quite high now as we join on board with Team Pringles, who have made their way on into Thermal proper. They have some cover to work with, but they're getting shot at from multiple angles now as they're starting to close the distance on one team for now. Instead, they're looking to go for the center tower as Presley took a lot of damage, but he is in safety, throwing down an early gas nade, but that is going to be helpful for them as it was a full send coming out from that squad, taking away on that damage. NPL in a fight here as they have to play the northeast choke now, a full squad inside the building ahead of them. It looks like NPL might be able to just take an isolated fight here. It's men's 3-in-1 shampoo. They need to brush off the dandruff, but it looks like no one is going to be contesting them on the high ground here. They were able to force that away. Mike Lav has that high ground angle. Here comes the EMP as it goes down on top of them, but the port now will be utilized so they can try and really apply some pressure onto them, but it's a Kosk on the other side. Mike Lav doesn't like the look of things, will back away here as he needs to heal up now, and that squad will be able to back away safely. Legit, never mind, decides he's going to go ahead and push for the low, or he might have actually just accidentally walked into the port.
I think you realize I'm just a lonely Watson. I can't go through and push this by myself as that fight finally goes down with Nestle Pure Life, and they actually go down. So our winners from game number 2, that's going to be Lonely Fans picking them apart and picking up the loot along the way. It's going to be an armor swap with an armor drop coming in. Nice teamwork coming in from Blueberry Smalls, helping his teammate through. And he's just dooming through this loot box. Make sure that he's ready as they do value the Scout Mastiff combination. We saw what they were doing with it in the previous game. You also see how long they've been there. Blight with a ton of barrels if this fight was to advance over towards them. So a lot of good zoning power coming in from Lonely Fans. Well, you don't have much area to work with from Nestle Pure Life. But now with 50 seconds left and a long way to rotate, Lonely Fans finds themselves in a pretty difficult situation here.
Yeah, and they only have one commit for this rotate at this point as well, as we have a better idea of where the ring is. Pop-Tart's in a fight, though. They've already lost out on Impulse. The bubble fighting, though, coming out huge for Lucas with the help of Stomps, able to get a kill on to Bronzy. So South State on the other side of this one. As the bubble does go down, Lucas is taking damage from that caustic gas, and it's so much damage. As he does back away with that port, uses that battery. Stomps hasn't gone through quite yet, but he is still alive, which is the important part. We're down to 9 squads, 24 players remaining as the respawn is timed out for Impulse now. Zone will start closing in 5 seconds, but Pop-Tarts have been able to fully stabilize here, and they're just a short walk away from getting into the zone. We'll see if any other teams find an angle on them for the time being. It looks like they might try to go for the high ground here. Pop-Tart's still alive underneath the tower as they are now, going for that northern rotate, but there's squads to their east. The full 3-man between him. Lucas tries to hold this down by himself, but it's going to be 3-in-1, taking the 3v1. Stomps with that defense and bombardment. We'll go ahead and throw that one down, applying pressure onto the squad that's already being pressured by the ring, along with the crossfire being set up. Stomps doesn't look like he has any bats, but hey, he survives for the top 8 at the time being. Good spray, gets top 7 for his squad, along with becoming the kill leader now with 7 kills for his team.
Looks like he's going to be sought out by that scan. Hopefully he has a med kit, and he does. Which means he's going to be able to heal a lot faster. Good spray from Rakanishu with the R301 2X purple mag here. Has to reload it. 6 hostiles detected. Prodigy Aces is down. Will they be able to get him back up? Joey Blackout's going to have to be the one to go and do so if that's the case. But you can see Prodigy Ace is just so overextended. It's not going to be able to happen. Rakanishu may be able to punch him to safety. Does have a little bit of a crevice here. And there is the little tomahawk towards the side. And somehow, some way, Prodigy Aces lives.
It was that ever-looming threat of the other squad in the area, and so they could not overpeak, overextend for that, and allows Prodigy Aces to survive for the time being. And Team Cheese It now in such an excellent position. Joey Blackout will be the MVP for the squad very shortly here as Turtle Club now making their push on in. They lose one out. Nasty going down. K Swinney will be the next one to fall, but Rambo is still up, and this man is an absolute nutter now in this 1v1. Oh boy, there's a red Evo in front of him now as he tries to push up. He's only got the R301 and the Volt, but it's enough for him as he does secure top 6 for his squad along with those kills. But it's Team Razer coming down from the choke now. as they will continue to slide down here. Now they might be the first point of contact to try and take on Team Cheez It.
So this is the tough spot for Team Cheez. This is where everyone starts to coexist right on that platform where your building is. People are going to be along the side. People are going to be on the outside of your building, and people are going to try to take the bottom or the roof right here. As Team Razer is going to be one of those teams. They are going to get the knock onto Awkward Turtle. They're going to try to play this little gully right here inside of where this lava is, and the yellow, I guess, whatever those are, tubes. So it's a tough spot. Once this bubble goes away, a lot of focus is going to be on them, and that's why Zeratricky realizes this situation, and he's going to have to move up because there's going to be a lot of different angles that are going to be able to get taken. So maybe some scans, and that's how you got to do it. You got to move to the outside of these crates, force this team inside the building, because once they start to pop out, that's when everyone else is going to start to infiltrate.
Stomps was able to secure top 4 for his squad, and now we are down to our top 3. It's a 3v3v3, and Team Razer, unfortunately, sitting on 2 blues now. All those armor swaps, that's what they ended up with in the shuffle. We still have a minute before this slow ring starts closing in. And while they are in the center of the zone, you know, this building can be incredibly strong. They don't have anything to really do to try and counteract the caustic that's inside for Team Pringles as well as Team Cheez It. We'll see how the barrels affect this next engagement.
Yeah, the barrels are huge, and this is exactly how you play this one. One team on the bottom, one team on the top, and then a team on the outside. It's surprising that we don't have more teams actually alive in this zone. This is where you take the high ground for Team Pringles and you make this 3-layer cake right here. And it's up to Presley. It really is. He has to land something big here. Fury's not going to have his portal, as this one's going to go and close. And then you just have Team Razer during Razer Week waiting in the wings for these two teams possibly to go and duke it out. So like we said, as soon as one of these teams peaks, that's when the other team is going to go and just collapse immediately. You want to be the last team in here. And technically, Team Razer is the closest to where the zone is going to actually end.
And Presley is doing a great job of controlling both of these exits right now with those barrels, popping them early on. You can see the taking damage going through as the full swing comes out, but oh, the damage, the humanity as Presley gets the spray down onto Joey Blackout. Pringles have not lost a member quite yet, and so they still have all 3 up, and it might not be time for Razer to pull the trigger quite yet. Hakulo is trying to get in position to try and take advantage of anything happening here. Muffins, though, with the crossfire to try and buy some time for Hakulo, try to find that opening. We're now down to a 3v3v2 as Team Pringles really wants to get rid of the squad underneath them. Rakanisha will be the next one to fall. It's all up to Prodigy Aces for that squad to try and survive, but Razer doing an excellent job of understanding that they have priority on the zone. Hakulo backs away with that Q. Valuable cooldown for the time being, but as things get close, he pulls out that Mastiff. Prodigy Aces gets the kill as he does get finished off, and that's going to allow Team Razer to come in with the 3v2. The bubble has been utilized as well. Here comes a full swing on in, but they turn around. Now it's a 3v1 full swinging on the final member. Team Razer took a little while, but they finally get their win here in game number 3.
Methodically made their way. We saw the ping down towards the rock. We saw the rotation down towards the choke, and then down towards from that choke to the hill. They came swooped down over towards the south side of Thermal, made their way up the ramp, played the outside, forced the 2 teams inside the building, and then come through with a well-timed third party